After 5 years of serial vaping, I quit in 3 days. It is really that simple, but you are lying to yourself. So let's get into it. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. It is lovely to have you here. Come on in, sit down, get cozy. This is another part to my Get Ready With Me chats where I'm just going to be talking about things that I have learned. Just, you know, giving my little pearls of wisdom. Okay. Today's topic, I am going to be telling you how I finally quit vaping. Yeah, your girl was a vapor. A vapist, if you will. So just to start off with a little bit of backstory, I had been vaping, I think I probably would say I first got addicted when I was 15 years old. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I know how mental that is and that sounds. And when I say addicted, I mean like addicted. I was literally attached to my vape. It was literally like it was a bodily part of me. If I didn't like actually have it on me or know where it was, I was stressed. There were multiple stints where I tried to give up vaping, but nothing like actually stuck. Now, I have been sober for over a year. I have not touched, I have not had a hit, I have not inhaled a single form of nicotine in over a year. But yeah, before that, I had tried everything. I had gone cold turkey, telling myself that I was only gonna vape at social occasions or vaping on weekends.
Oh Lord.
What? And honestly, it kind of reached a point that I had just given up. I thought, it's a lost cause. I thought there was no way that I was ever gonna be actually able to quit. Or I thought like, you know what?
I'm still young.
Like in the back of my mind, I had told myself like one day I was gonna quit. So really, it's not my issue now. This is future me's problem, okay? Although deep down, I like knew I had to quit because it was honestly embarrassing. Vaping was eating all of my money, spending, I don't even want to know how much money I spent on vapes. I think I calculated it at one point. And I could have gotten myself a designer bag. In my whole time of vaping, I probably could have purchased myself a designer bag with the amount that I spent on vapes, which is mental. And although I was very much in a mentality where, you know what, this is just part of me and like I have no impetus to give it up right now, I hated it. I hated vaping. I thought it looked disgusting. It looked ugly. It was something I was so ashamed of. I was hiding it from my family. Like, honestly, it was one of the things that I hated the most about myself for a long period of time. And that isn't nice. And this is the thing, yeah. This is like a very common misconception when people try to help people quit. Is like they'll tell them how bad it is for them. But it's like, at least for me, I know. Like I knew how much it was destroying my health. I just did not care. Or at least I did care, but the prospect of quitting and that scary venture was honestly more terrifying than any health concerns. Like honestly, this is kind of crazy to admit, but one of my friends literally developed an abscess on their throat from vaping, which they were hospitalized for, and I still continued to vape after that. That is how down bad I was and how mentally closed off I was to the idea that I was ever going to be able to quit, basically. So let's like move on then. What actually made me quit? So I was in America in a bookstore and I saw a book by Alan Carr called The Easy Way to Stop Smoking or Vaping. And it said on the book, somebody had read it and after 20 years of being a smoker, they've never touched a cigarette again. I thought, biggest bit of BS I have ever heard in my life, right? But then I opened a page because I thought, yeah, you know what? Let me just look into it a little bit. And it said on the page this thing about how smoking actually changes your taste buds. So if you're in a restaurant and you think some food tastes too salty, go outside and guaranteed the chef will be a smoker. I thought, okay, that's interesting. Not only did I not know that, but also clearly this book isn't just about like, vaping's bad for your health, you should stop vaping. So maybe I should actually read it. And honestly, you kind of have nothing to lose. Like you either read the book and quit vaping, which would honestly be the best thing ever, because how easy is it that you just have to read a book and you quit vaping? Or it doesn't work, you continue vaping, and really all that you've wasted is your time reading a book. So you may as well give it a go. As much as I was a disbeliever, as much as I hate to admit it, it worked. I read this book. Since reading it, I've not touched a vape. So obviously, you need to read this book. I will have it linked below, but I'm just going to tell you now kind of some of the core concepts of the book, hopefully enough to convince you to read it, but also just kind of maybe give you a little bit of a vaping mentality to kickstart quitting. I'm guessing if you've clicked onto this video, you're already kind of intrigued as to how I did this. I feel like it's important to kind of just stress you're probably either having an open mind to quitting or a closed mind where you're like, this isn't going to work, or I don't want to quit vaping. I would implore you to have an open mind. Have an open mind that you're going to go into this and you're going to properly read it and properly give it a go and just see what happens. Or actually properly listen to me right now. Okay, so the core focus of this book, you need to reframe the way that you see smoking. It is not a pleasure, it is a prison. You think that right now you are free because you are able to vape. You don't have to quit and be confined to never smoking again. And you either think that you need or you want to vape because it is adding to your life in some way. But actually, it is this trap that is keeping you in this cycle that you can free yourself from. And that is so much easier than you may think. I think the key thing to keep reminding yourself is that you aren't actually giving up anything by quitting smoking. Instead, you are almost releasing yourself of this trap, ridding yourself of something that has been plaguing your life, both physically and mentally. It talks a lot about having a little monster and the big monster, which I'll kind of explain a little bit later, but I'm not going to talk about all the physical plagues of vaping because you probably already know that right now. You know how bad it is for your health, you know how bad it is for your lungs and cardiovascular health in general. Yeah. There's no point in me saying this, you already know. So how does vaping actually work? Because guys, I didn't know this. The people who suffer the most from nicotine withdrawals are smokers, not people who have quit. Smokers will regularly go through nicotine withdrawals because nicotine only really has a half-life of about 2 hours. Basically meaning that when nicotine enters your body, after 2 hours, you will have this little monster, which is the state of withdrawal, basically asking you to vape again. So that is how it becomes an addictive substance, because for vapors, they're constantly suffering with withdrawal, so they're constantly having to vape in order to appease the withdrawal. You have this little monster basically prodding the big monster, which is your brain, which is the addiction. However, what I didn't realize, nicotine only actually stays in your system for about 3 to 4 days. I think it's still recognizable in your system for time after that, but the effects of nicotine will be completely gone after 4 days. Yeah, so basically for me, in the past when I've gone, oh my goodness, I'm really struggling with withdrawal right now, nicotine withdrawal, that was BS, guys. There's no physical reaction after 4 days. You just go back to normal, basically. And any time that you've failed when you've quit before because the withdrawal was too much, that's not actually true. It was just basically the big monster that was still alive and tricking you into thinking you still needed nicotine. Honestly, addiction is 1% physical and 99% mental. So you need to battle the mental ones, the mental things that are keeping you vaping. But what are they? That brings me on to the illusion of smoking, because smokers, if you actually think about it, they're a walking contradiction. This is myself included. I was this person once. There honestly may be so many reasons why you say you smoke. I have no idea. I'm just gonna kind of go off the reasons that I said I used to smoke. Because it calms you down. But actually, if you were a non-smoker, you would be less stressed, because smoking causes an additional layer of stress because you're constantly having to feel the need to consume nicotine. So you say, oh, I smoke, I take the drug to take my mind off things. But then you may also say that you need the drug in order to concentrate. That was another excuse I had. When I'm working, it helps me concentrate whilst I'm doing something. But I also was saying that it calmed me down. How can something calm you down and take your mind off things and also help you focus at the same time? It's the same drug. What? Another thing that I constantly used to say, it helps me stay skinny. It helps me stay small. This is a very common misconception. You can't reduce your hunger signals by vaping. So basically, any effort that you have made to retain the same weight that you are right now, that is separate from your smoking habits. And I guess I'm kind of proof in the pudding. When I was vaping, I was also the heaviest I ever was. So really, that's just not like a thing, okay? And also, if smoking actually eliminated hunger cues, then to put it perfectly bluntly, why are so many smokers overweight? Do you know what I mean? Because I'm bored. Well, smoking actually increases boredom because it reduces physical and mental stimulation, depleting your energy, making you lethargic because you need to. How long have you lived your life without vaping? You have lived your life just fine where you haven't been smoking. You only just think you need it now because it has become so normalized, because it's trendy. Bruh. I know no one's saying that. Is that blueberry bubblegum chonka vape that you are puffing on 24/7? Do you really think that's cute? It's not really fitting the aesthetic, babe. I hate to break it to you. And honestly, any other reasons, just think back to before you smoked or other people, because guarantee you had been through or other people are going through similar experiences to you, but they aren't using smoking as a method of coping. So if other people can have other coping mechanisms that are definitely healthier for them, so can you. The smoker smokes in order to feel like a non-smoker. We're not doing that anymore. We are going to become a non-smoker and we are going to deal with things like non-smokers deal with things. If anything, smoking just like elevates your reasons because you're still remaining in this constant trap of vaping and smoking. You still feel trapped. The misery of addiction is not relieved by the thing you are addicted to. It is actually caused by it. So you didn't feel the desire to vape or smoke before you started smoking. Smoking actually caused that addiction. It's not the other way around. Does that make sense? Also, how cute is this mug? Aww. So cute. Anyway. So why haven't you been able to quit before? I think the main reason why people struggle so much to quit is because they see giving up as losing something in your life rather than gaining freedom. Obviously, humans want what they can't have. And in the past, you saw giving up as losing something that you would want. So depriving yourself. But really, you don't want to vape. The more you wallow in the sense of deprivation, the stronger your cravings become and the more you want to vape again. But really, smoking benefits you in no way. No benefits. And honestly, I was so worried about like triggers and stuff. Don't try and avoid the triggers. Use the triggers that would normally make you want to smoke as a reminder that you're set free from that. You don't have to smoke anymore. And it's like a reminder of the satisfaction that you're done. You're done. You're done. You're done. Wait, I'm gonna do my mascara. Also, as far as like nicotine products go, nicotine patches, nicotine gum, no, don't use them. Just perpetuates the illusion that you're sacrificing something when you quit, and really you're not sacrificing anything. Also, casual smoking. You know how earlier I was like, oh, well, I'd smoke on a social occasion or on weekends. Just don't do that to yourself. That's basically the idea that you are in control of your smoking and you decide when you want to smoke. So you're like, I will have a cigarette today, whatever. Or I'll have a vape at this party. But you already can. Like, you already have control over that. So clearly, you can't be a casual smoker. If you are one of those people who are serially addicted to their vape like I was, unfortunately, that's just not a thing. I know so many people who can buy a vape on a night out or vape on a night out and then bin that vape and not need it, not be reliant on it. That is just not me. I am just not that person. I have an addicted personality when it comes to vaping. Clearly, I would lose control and I would fall back into it. So if you are having that desire to still socially smoke, the big monster, the addiction, that is still alive and you've not actually quit. I hate to break it to you. Honestly, the main message, once you finally understand that smoking has nothing to offer you, then it is actually easy to abstain from it, because you're not missing out on anything. The misinformation of this little monster being like, we need nicotine, makes you believe that you need to vape to satisfy that craving. But the truth is, as I've discussed earlier, vaping and smoking isn't actually satisfying anything at all. Also, something that I think a lot of people who I have recommended this book to are shocked by is that it asks you to keep vaping whilst you read the book. It's not like as soon as you open the book, you have to stop vaping. That's it. Don't touch a vape again. Keep vaping. It's okay. It actually encourages you to. But as you read the book, you'll just realize that you don't really want to anymore. And then it will take you through a whole process where you have your last cigarette or you have your last vape. From that point onwards, never again. I honestly was taking that hit of the vape the last time and I was like, I don't even want to do this right now. The honest truth though, when I first quit, I would be lying if I said I immediately felt normal or it immediately felt normal not to vape. That's because There's this whole like special cigarette thing, an almost ceremonial time where you vape or have a cigarette, maybe like after a meal. For me, something that was really prominent was whilst I was getting ready or doing my makeup. I was so used to vaping whilst doing my makeup. Honestly, this was the hardest thing for me because it's just like little triggers, little bits like that where you're so accustomed to vaping whilst you do it. And I've got to be honest, it does feel weird. It feels weird at first, but the same way you got used to vaping whilst doing that thing, you can just as easily get used to not vaping whilst doing that thing. It's a psychology. Your girl is a psychology major. She's in with the classical conditioning. And obviously, once something's been conditioned, in order to maintain that behavior, but you can still extinguish that connection so that you no longer feel the need to vape whilst getting ready. It doesn't become a normal situation anymore. But obviously that only comes with time and with practice. So instead now, like, I'll have a nice drink or I'll watch something whilst getting ready, and that's my new normality. Your brain just needs to catch up. That is the other misconception. As soon as you quit, you're gonna just go back to normal. But naturally, your brain may forget that you're no longer a smoker, which isn't surprising, especially if you've been vaping for a long period of time. It's gonna take your brain a little bit of time to adjust to the new normality. But honestly now, oh, she's still alive. But honestly now, I can't even remember what it was like to be a smoker, or I can't remember what it was like to be so reliant on the vape. I can't even imagine it. And I'm not gonna lie, like that does happen fairly quickly, and it is the best thing ever. Thinking back to the time where I was so reliant on a vape, I constantly had to have one. I was stressed if I didn't like have it with me right now. That's honestly crazy to me because it's like I couldn't even think of that now. So honestly, if you are thinking of giving it a go, I would highly recommend it and encourage you to do so. Trust me, I know how crippling and annoying a strong addiction to vaping is. I know how hard it is to get the encouragement to actually quit, but I really do hope that this has somewhat helped and inspired you to read this book with an open mind. Like I said, I will have it linked in the description. And honestly, if you do want to start reading this book after this video, then congratulations, because you're literally taking the first step. But I think that concludes this whole summary. If anyone wants to share their experiences when it comes to vaping or quitting, smoking and vaping, same thing, please feel free to comment them below or reach out. If you didn't already know, I also do weekly vlogging and other videos, so definitely make sure to check out my channel. And if you enjoyed, please subscribe, like, comment, turn on notifications, all of that. And let me know if you want me to continue with these little chatty videos, chatty get ready with me's. They're kind of fun. I'm kind of enjoying them. Oh. And if you do, please give me some topic ideas that you would like my little 2 pence on.
No! God, please, no!
Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always for supporting. I love you all very much. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you in my next video or vlog. Bye guys, love you!
Yo, this is Nappy Boy Radio live with your boy T-Pain.